Welcome everyone to the Strongest Town Contest live stream, where we are in the final two. We're in the championship moment, and we have to determine, as a broad Strong Towns movement, which of these two fine communities that we're going to be hearing from today are in the running as the strongest communities, but which one is going to take home that prize. And so I am grateful that you've joined us today. We're going to have a few folks still rolling in as we continue on to get started this morning or this afternoon. But I'm joined by several key people that I definitely will introduce in just a moment. Josh from Madison, and Mayor Dan, as well as Emily from West Allis, and Heather Worthington with our sponsor Urban 3. But as we do this, I want to just have everybody take a moment to introduce whereabouts in the world that you are, but just wait until I've switched over my screen, because if you drop it into the chat, then what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to see sort of roughly where everybody is situated. So I'm out in Delta, British Columbia, all the way, quite a ways away from Wisconsin, but we've already got a couple people that introduced themselves in the chat. So we've got, let's see, Felix in Boston, we've got Lowell in Wisconsin, and just go ahead and drop in your digits or your location, and yeah, we'll see. So we got Heather in St. Paul, pretty decent Midwest representation here. We've got somebody all the way down in Louisiana. Robert, welcome, glad you're here. Oh, we can even check the weather in for Tony with Strong Towns in Annapolis is 60 degrees, so we can 50 degrees out in Oregon. Who's here from Maine? Welcome for you that's joined us. Oh, it's recognize you as D. Missoula, Montana. Fantastic. Kevin, good to have you here. We were getting a pretty good little cluster going on in Madison. So Josh, you brought a crew. I love it. And we've got Duluth, Adam McGill up in Duluth. So good to have you folks here. Glad, really, I think this is part of that representation of so much interest in what we are doing across the North American landscape. And so as we carry on, let's dive into our slides. Oh, I'm got to just switch my screen here back to my regular slides. But go ahead and continue to introduce yourself if you want to as well. To answer Lowell's question, it is the Stream Alive tool, which I have found and now love to use in lots of different things like this. But as we go, I just want to give you an overview of what the contest is about. The Strongest Town Contest was established to be able to recognize the reality that our communities need work. And as works in progress, something that's really important for us to do is to take stock of how we are doing, to be able to take stock together and take pride in some of the key things that we are working on together, improving the financial condition of our communities, making our places work for everyone, establishing some of those core principles of valuing each and every person in our place and ensuring their safety, their dignity, the honor that they have to be a resident of our community. And when we do all of those things, we move from being places that are weak and fragile, especially as a consequence, as Strong Towns would lay out, due to many of the impacts of the suburban pattern of development and the way in which many of those standards and assumptions were even smuggled into the cores of our cities. And overcoming that and beginning to address that real challenge that we face is at the heart of what the Strongest Town Contest is about. It is, I would say, soberingly realistic, but also unwaveringly optimistic. We are committed to this work, and this is where we realized we need to be able to celebrate on a regular basis. And so we do this every single year, identifying and encouraging people to nominate their communities and enter into this collection or the pantheon of communities that are on their way. No single place has reached nirvana. If they had, we would all move there. But in the meantime, what we do see is so many of the key features that you would have encountered as you've been voting and participating in the Strongest Town Contest. The observation that a community is built by many hands, and that there are so many small things that are significant that we can be doing to unleash greater capacity in our places. And so a group and an organization and a firm that knows a lot about this, in fact, have had a pivotal role in really helping the broader Strong Towns movement to understand the financially sustainable patterns that make communities strong rather than weak and fragile, is Urban 3. If you haven't encountered their work, I'm going to have Heather Worthington, who is a chief principal at Urban 3 introduce their firm and their work with us, but they have been a stalwart for the Strong Towns movement, and particularly this year said, we would love to be able to sponsor the Strongest Town contest. And so, Heather, would you take a moment and introduce yourself as well as the work of Urban 3?
I certainly will. Thanks, Norm. Good afternoon, everybody. We are really excited to sponsor the Strongest Town contest this year. And as Norm noted, we do a lot of work with our friends in local government across the country and in Canada. And we like to say that knowledge is power and data is our friend. And so that's really what we're here for today, is to really encourage y'all to keep doing the work that you're doing, making your cities really strong and knowledgeable and powerful. If it's okay, I'd like to share a video that I think is a really great encapsulation of the work we do. We actually had a contract with the National Association of Home Builders to produce this video, but I think it's a great example of the work that we do at Urban 3. And so I'm going to share this really quickly. It's just 2 minutes, so we'll make sure that we finish on time here. And so I'm going to hit play and hope this works. Good.
I am seeing the visuals, but I'm not hearing the audio. So if it's, but we do have the captions.
Start over here. I'm not sure why the video is working, but the audio is not. Might
You
be
may have to,
these.
in the share settings, you may have to just make sure that you've selected include video, audio, share with sound. That's right.
Am I in the right place? Sorry about this. Is it in the audio setting, Norm?
It will look like, so if you go to share, it's on the bottom, usually on your bottom right side, there's share options that says share sound, optimized for video sharing, and then share Zoom windows. And it's especially the one optimized for video sharing. We'll get both of them.
Great. Got it. Thank you. Various kinds of housing affect a city's budget differently, but zoning policies often limit the range of housing options. Over time, this can lead to growth patterns that are more expensive for cities to maintain. At Urban 3, we analyze housing through the lens of economic productivity, based on how much value a property generates per acre of land it takes up. It's like how you measure the efficiency of a car. We don't measure it in miles per tank, because different cars have differently sized tanks. Instead, efficiency is measured in miles per gallon. We measure the economic efficiency of land in dollars per acre for the same reason. These two adjacent neighborhoods have different levels of economic productivity. Compared to the nearby lower density development, Trilith produces 4 times the value on a per acre basis, thanks to its higher density. Between 1940 and 2020, Springfield, Missouri's land area expanded through annexation much faster than its population grew, causing the length of road per resident to more than double. When growth requires extra infrastructure like longer roads, new utility lines, and sewer extensions, it can increase municipal costs compared to more compact development. This is a spectrum from undeveloped land to densely developed land, showing revenues and costs. The undeveloped parcels don't provide much revenue, but they also have low costs, providing a small surplus. Low-density residential areas are often challenging for cities to balance fiscally because their costs can outpace revenues. While densely urbanized places have high costs, they have even higher revenues, so they are net positive. We mapped Springfield's infrastructure costs and tax revenues. The net positive land is black and the net negative land is red. In places where residential development is net positive, it tends to have a higher density. Mixed-use buildings, townhomes, missing middle, and multifamily housing can be economically self-sustaining, which is why communities benefit from having the option to build them. Thanks for letting me show that.
That's fantastic. And maybe a quick question. What is a good way for communities
So
to
you're
be in
already
touch with
using
you?
ChatGPT, and well,
A good way to get in touch with us
Yeah,
is basically through our website, and I'll put that in the chat, and happy to also share my email address. Thanks, Norm.
super. Thank you so much. Well, again, thank you to Urban 3 and continue to go and check out their content. And I know that in the Strong Towns feed, we have also featured various insights that they've drawn from the work they do in communities on social media, helping people to really start to understand the state of their own community as well. Today we are, I just want to quickly recap how we got here. So this has been a fantastic contest so far. We've had interesting routes for both of the cities. So you can see Madison coming down from the Elite Eight, having surpassed a number of other communities in the round of 16. And so they were up in a stiff battle, the Battle of Ivins, Utah, and then with Sheboygan, Wisconsin. And there's just something about Wisconsin communities in this round. I want to also shout out West Allis and the matchup that they had with Chicago. If you've watched on social media on Instagram, the Chicago folks did a great little social short. Maybe we can link to that on Instagram about this presence of Wisconsin within the contest and their efforts. And yet here we are with our ability to take up today our presentation of our top 2 finalists. And so I want to welcome several participants that have come to date. First from our from Madison, and then from West Allis. And so Josh Olson is here from West Allis. And I realize the reason I'm jumping too soon. I do want to introduce Josh, and I do want to introduce Mayor Dan Devine and Emily. But before we do that, I want to just cover how to go about voting. So voting in this final round is going to close at 9 o'clock in the morning, Central Time on April the 3rd. And so in that, you have the opportunity still to go out and vote. In fact, we're going to make sure we have a little bit of time here at the end of our session. And the voting link will be shared just right now in the chat. And we will be announcing the winner on April the 6th. So you'll have to wait a whole weekend with bated breath for us to do all the vote tabulation to then be able to release the winner on April the 6th. One of the things that we love to do is then share on stage at the National Gathering in Fayetteville, Arkansas, the presentation of the plaque to the Strongest Town winner of that particular year. And so we had Maumee, we had Marion, Ohio, we've had numerous others that have participated in this. And if you're not familiar with the Strong Towns National Gathering, definitely join us for it. It's May 18th through 20th. We're still making space available for people to attend and would love to have you there for that as well. And what's cool about it is it's sort of after that like initial burst of energy has sort of subsided of, hey, we went and we succeeded in the contest. Then there's that point for reflection, that point of that deepening sense. We've done this together, and that real opportunity to be spotlighted and showcased before all of our Strong Towns members at the National Gathering. We also, and I would actually love to know if you have watched one of the videos that we've released about our various Strongest Town community winners. Just put a note or what was your reaction, or maybe put in the chat a prompt for other people to go and do the same, because I think each of the videos that we've produced about Maumee, about Marion, and about Brattleboro, Vermont have been fantastic. They've been gripping in a way that really captures that sense that our communities are works in progress. And so I would definitely recommend go and check those out. Thank you, Tony, for posting that in the chat. And we will be doing a mini documentary about the winner with a goal of premiering that this summer. So not only will there be a presence at the National Gathering, but then for the world to take note of, we will be doing a mini documentary about the competition winner, which is now down to just 2 communities here coming up. So let's pivot into a discussion about Madison Wisconsin. And so, Sheena, if you want to bring up Josh onto the stage, and Josh Olson is the leader of Strong Towns Madison. He was also just recently featured on the Strongest Town podcast. I mean, on Bottom Up Shorts about his community. And Josh, let's get started. I wanted to ask you, what is it that makes your community so strong, and what are some of those key features that you say, hey, this is what puts us over the top this year in our competition?
Yeah, thanks, Norm, for having me and hosting this contest. It's great. I was honestly shocked to see four Midwest communities in the final four. It was pretty incredible. We're probably all voting for each other, and that's where I'm excited to see how this ends. I know that our Strong Towns local conversation is going to be waiting in bated breath over the weekend because our monthly meeting is the first Saturday. So we're going to celebrate the fact that we made it here. We're really excited about that. In terms of what I love about Madison and our community, I think one, if you don't know, Madison is on an isthmus, which means there's a strip of land surrounded by two large bodies of water. That's what this flag kind of represents. We've got Mendota, Monona, and then the isthmus in between. Uh, the resulting build form that we have from those two bodies of water makes for a really interesting city. We have some of these streetcar neighborhoods that were developed before zoning kind of was a real thing. So we have some strong backbone to examples that we can look to as the rest of the city kind of spread out. And I think that's where a lot of our community and even community members that don't come to our local conversation are saying, can we look back to what we learned a century ago and say, can we make this place better? Um, Beyond that, we have a lot of parks. I think we have like the most parks per capita, and that draws a lot of people to Madison. The lakes itself, they're beautiful in the summer. Super excited for better weather. It's one of the main reasons why I live here. I get the lowest lows in February snow and then highest highs in the Mays and Junes. And then the last thing I want to highlight is there's a lot of technical people in our local conversation that makes for really fun conversations, including people developing their own urban 3 maps using the data that was available to the city. Just a lot of people who are really nerds about making our city better. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love that combination of go out to the park and then study your land value acre map. And that combination of like you are that person, and I think that growing sense of like really taking stock of where your community is at and making sure that you can endure for the long haul. What about some of the projects that demonstrate progress that you're making towards becoming a strong town? Because this is a core element of what we want to really put front and center in front of everybody that's voting and in front of a much broader audience.
Yeah, this is one of the main questions that I've been getting. First of all, the main question I've been getting because of the Final Four is this a Wisconsin competition? And I have to be like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
this is national. This is
Yeah.
many different cities. We've been doing a really great job. The progress that we've been making towards. I think a lot of it focuses on transportation for us. Um, in 2024, there was a fatality that happened a couple of blocks from my apartment. I worked with Strong Towns to do a crash analysis studio because this wasn't even in the media. I hadn't even heard about it. From that, we have made a lot of steps working with the city to go from what is something that we can do right now? And the initial response was, we want permanent changes. Let's look at this in, a decade when this street is coming up for reconstruction to, okay, maybe we can try some experiments. We had a really popular bike path called the Southwest Commuter Path. We had to put in some new infrastructure, and we said, let's reduce this from 4 lanes to 2 lanes. And I think city staff thought it went well. And then Willie Street, which is one of our most popular business districts, with lots of mixed use and local businesses. There was a car that crashed into a coffee shop for the 3rd time. And we said, that is crazy. This has happened more than once. And then what can we actually do to fix it? So a lot of our members went to Transportation Commission in May or in June after the crash in May and said, we need to fix this. What's something we can do right now? In August, we presented them with let's just remove the peak hour lane signs that we had set up rather than the proposed 3 years from now, we'll hire a consultant for $150,000, $200,000. We'll do something. Who knows? They agreed to our much less costly solution. I think it was $24,000. Remove the signs, make it 1 lane each way permanently. We did that for a trial of 2 months. Things went really well. A lot of people reported they felt much safer and much more comfortable. traffic didn't change too much. And now the city is saying maybe we should do that for other streets, when before it was not even an opportunity. We also held a parking day that had its own challenges, but getting through those challenges has made other organizations in Madison want to put on their own parking day. And then this summer we had some housing forward initiatives that really align well with housing ready cities. So we have duplexes anywhere you can build a single family home. That's by right, as well as some other changes like more ADUs. Small apartments in our downtown are now by right, as well as continuing to affirm things like ending parking mandates in our central core.
So I think what you're describing is a threefold strategy here, which is one, to get people to vote for Madison, then get people to come and visit, and then to fall in love with your community and just move there, because there will be opportunities for housing. There will be those types of initiatives that you're talking about that are making the streets better and more suitable for everyone. You've got great coffee shops, all the goodies that are there. But what are some of the core reasons why people should be voting for your community?
So I would say that progress is what I'm most proud about. In a city as large as we are, which I don't think is as typical for strong towns, it can be very easy to feel kind of lost or, what do I do? Where do I go? I think our community really rallied around each other and said, let's not give up here. There were attempts at trying to make Willie Street a safer place. They didn't really stick, but we kept bugging people and saying, hey, we think this is a really positive change. There's a lot of optimistic people here. It probably comes with a growing city. Like, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to stay here when I moved here. But we're not just sitting around twiddling our thumbs, waiting for things to happen. We're saying, what is the next best thing that we can do? And we have our whole list for this year. So even if we don't win, we're trying to come up with a nomination that will get us into something like the Final Four or the championship every year. We want a championship resume to show this is progress that we're making, and I think we've done a really good job this year.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like you're stocking up the cupboard to make sure that you're a perennial contender and participant in the process as well. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Josh. And so definitely want to encourage you. Josh has put a great foot forward, but we've also got to hear from our friends in West Allis. Not to be outdone by the capital state or capital city in Wisconsin. West Allis has been fantastic in their run to the final, knocking off Spokane, Washington, and then taking out Chicago on the way, which I would imagine there's probably some regional pride that's at work there. And now West Allis is continuing to strengthen its local economy. One of the themes that came through in the interview that I did on Bottom Up Shorts with them was the taking of land that was poorly used and making much more of it, and continuing to create room for housing and improving the community along the way. And so I'm pleased to be joined by the mayor of West Allis, Dan Devine, as well as West Allis's nominator and city planner, Emily Wagner. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Let's just start off. What are your community's best features?
So we do not have water. Like Madison, we are landlocked, which presents its own unique challenge, and that does result in a lot of our redevelopment is tearing down underutilized properties, which often results in environmental cleanup in addition, and then building up and trying to build density and build neighborhoods. We've got just an incredible local dining scene. We've had more mom and pop restaurants opening up with very diverse dining, often owned by West Allis residents themselves that decided to chase their dream right in their hometown, which is really special. We also have, because we're right a stone's throw from the city of Milwaukee, we get every amenity that Milwaukee has to offer, but yet here in West Allis, we're about 60,000 people. We can keep that small town feel, and really that leads to strong neighborhoods. We've invested in a lot of community building, and we've invested in our walkability. We've also been working to ramp up our bikeability. So we've really got, for 11 square miles, we've got some really strong neighborhoods, really connected neighborhoods. And I don't know if you have anything you want to add, Emily.
I mean, to just add on to all the awesome things that Mayor Dan's talking about here, we have the State Fair right in our downtown that absolutely lights the city up for 2 weeks every August in the year. And I love the State Fair. It's a really great way to connect with our agricultural resources in the state of Wisconsin. especially if you're a city slicker. For some folks, it's the first time you get to milk a cow, it's really fun stuff. In addition to that, we have an award-winning farmers market, also pretty much right downtown in West Allis, where not only tourists and visitors get to peruse our local selections, but our, local restaurants too put in their orders there for their fresh produce, and we're incredibly proud of that. On top of that, we've got some fantastic events that draw in folks from the entire region, such as West Allis a la carte, and a lot of great business improvement district sponsored events as well. So, despite being located really close to the regional workhorse that is Milwaukee, West Allis really stands out on its own and represents for itself. And we get a regional draw here, which has been fantastic to see.
So I'd love to hear, like, how is it that it's so possible for people to open up shops and do that sort of first level? Because that really stands out as we moving people from just the idea or the hope or the dream of doing something to actually being able to open it. And in the podcast, I can't remember, it was I think Patrick just rattled off all of these different things. How is that possible?
It's really, the hardest thing when I first got elected was ensuring potential entrepreneurs that they can make it here
Yeah.
and that they can be successful here. And we really hold the hands of small businesses. We have, I know you've met some of our staff on prior interviews, but they're brilliant and they know how to harness opportunities for funding and capital, and they have great relationships with banks. And we're a Kiva city where we can do some crowdfunding opportunities for small businesses, and we've just had in the last, I would say, 8 to 10 years, we've had coffee shops, bakeries, craft breweries. Just we have a gourmet Rice Krispie treat store in our community that is now growing in West Allis to a bigger building because they get so many corporate orders for mint chocolate chip Rice Krispie treats and orange creamsicle Rice Krispie treats, and they're shipping and they're doing it for weddings. A lot of the businesses, for the longest time, we had one of a kind businesses, and they weren't just restaurants or bars that they were trying to build in the suburbs to prevent people from having to go downtown. They were trying to recreate the downtown experience in the burbs, which didn't always sit well with me. But we've had some of those in the last couple of years, but for the longest stretch, all of our restaurants were one of a kind, and they were independent and unique. And it was a really great, diverse dining scene as well.
To add to that a little bit, from the permitting side of things also, we've really tried to reduce the red tape surrounding permitting for our local businesses. When you have to push things back 1 month, 2 months because you haven't obtained the permits that you need, that has real lasting and tangible impacts for our small businesses. So we offer permitting processes where folks can align down a parallel path for code enforcement and our planning permits, while also seeking some strategic opportunities through our economic development loans and grants as well. So we really do try to foster that small business environment here.
And then word gets out. They all talk to other small business owners, and they say we opened up a shop in West Allis, and it was a wonderful process. And then that word gets out in the chef community and the entrepreneur community and the small business community.
And it's unlocking each of those core increments and really beginning to like strengthen and deepen the bench of people that are participating in the community, making your community with many hands. What are some of the projects? Maybe I've previewed a few of them, but that is helping you progress to becoming a stronger community.
You want to start that one?
Absolutely. So one thing that I identified in our application and really prompted me to put forth our application was the absolute overhaul of our transportation systems and how we look at transportation in West Allis. Now, mind you, I've only been here about 2 years or so, and there's definitely a lot of people who can attest to the history of how things have gone here. But our recent and committed demonstrations to complete streets initiatives, both in West Allis and as the Milwaukee region, as well as our city's commitments to Safe Street for All, show that we are taking traffic safety very seriously in the city. On top of that, not only do we just talk the talk, we walk the walk as well through our recent Transportation Academy, where we invited our citizens to come to the city and essentially talk all things transportation. What's it like being someone with a mobility device navigating our streets? What's it like using our public transportation? We receive feedback not only from residents, but also business owners and some of our leaders as well through the Common Council attended these meetings. I know that Madison is also a part of this program, which was put on by 1,000 Friends of Wisconsin, but they've been going from community to community to essentially engage our residents in a free transportation academy where folks can learn the history of gentrification and redlining and how those impacts still are tangibly felt in the Milwaukee region today. But also at the very end of the class, they get to pitch their own idea for how to reinvent a streetscape, which for us on the permitting side of things and our engineers as well, who are brilliant, is really refreshing to get that take in those perspectives. On top of that, we have real life interpersonal connections that we make through our community through the bike ride with the mayor. You
Mm.
know, it's a really awesome way to get that interpersonal touch with one of your leaders in the city also. Our engineering department, also because of these commitments, has a rapid implementation strategy for our residential neighborhoods where speeding and reckless driving are experienced, where they're able to take applications for technology to help slow the speeds on these roads. On top of that, when I think strong towns, I think bottom up grassroots movement, and I think that our community conversations also invite the public in to talk about salient topics in the city. Most recently, our community conversations are centering around the topic of homelessness and how we can better organize our infrastructures of care for our homeless populations, which that's huge. Where certain things in government move slowly, we have the support of our residents to help move things along quickly as well, and also leverage strategic partnerships with our faith-based organizations, especially around the idea of temporary warming shelters too. It's been really fantastic. So we offer a lot in terms of allowing folks to come in, experience the process, and try to make something of it themselves, you know, just in the community. On top of that, you know, more nuts and bolts, we've revamped our zoning code ordinances to allow for greater housing diversity and flexibility in our zoning code. We allow ADUs in all of our zoning districts, and we have parking maximums instead of minimums to further drive that housing affordability. I'm really proud of all of these things.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned 1,000 Friends of Wisconsin, but I feel like if I moved to West Allis, I'd have 1,000 friends in no time, just because of the presence of all of these different initiatives and undertakings. And Mayor Dan, I would join you on a bike ride, and then
There
we
we
could be
go.
friends as well. How about, I mean, you've had several thousand people now or actually more than that, voting for West Allis over the course of the thing. Our contest. But as we hit this high water mark, what are some of the core sort of salient reasons why you want us to make sure that everybody commits their vote to West Allis, even after what you heard from Madison?
No, Madison's great. I'm not taking anything from Madison. I will say that, the West Allis story is really one of resilience. The whole reason West Allis became a city is because Louis Allis began building homes east of the Allis-Chalmers manufacturing plant. I'm sorry, west, not east. That would not make sense. West of the West Allis, west of the Allis-Chalmers plant, leading it to be called West Allis. And in the 1980s, that Allis-Chalmers entity left the city, and the city really struggled. And even though it was decades ago, there are still elements I think we feel where, something we're redoing or re-envisioning is still something that was tied to Allis-Chalmers. And, the city has been slowly and incrementally building back from that by picking neighborhoods and focusing on them and visioning them. Our staff were you're not in this yet, but some of us, when we're on vacation, we're always texting things from other cities we see that we think are cool. And my family gets annoyed because sometimes vacations are almost like um, I'm doing research and working as much as we are on vacation. But that resilience is real, and it's the quality of the people that live here that make this a great community. And I think, the microcosm of it all was the city's reaction to the flooding last August, when we had just hundreds of homes with flooded basements. We had 20 structure collapses, and just not only the people within the city government, but the community as a whole organizing cookouts. Some of the hardest hit areas coming together to help each other right now resulted in the silver lining of them being some of the most connected and strongest neighborhoods in our city just because of what they went through. So, like I said earlier, we were bouncing back from a really rough time, going into the 1980s and 90s, and we've been slowly crawling back, and we're keeping that sense of grittiness, but we're becoming a cool destination, but not forgetting our working class and our blue collar roots.
And this is a story that I think a lot of places in America, internationally, can align with. What happens when your first inner ring suburb, formerly built on the back of an industrial giant, sees that industrial giant leave? I think that's a story that a lot of different folks can connect with. And I think that West Allis highlights what it's like for an ordinary city to navigate these processes and the lessons that we take from other communities and that we've learned along the way can absolutely be replicated in your community because it's all about incremental, small adaptive reuse changes that grow into something bigger than we could have ever imagined. It's not about exponential growth for us. It's about sustaining what we have grown into, which I think has been huge.
Yeah. Well, I know I've got so many ideas of why I want to be able to make a Wisconsin road trip and come and check out the community. Thank you to both of you. And let's bring up Josh as well, because we're going to go into several rounds of trivia. So I've totally bailed on making sure that we got to our trivia questions right after Madison. So I hope that you have definitely been listening because now you've not only been inspired, you've probably by this point taken note of some of the things that you can be doing in your community. But now what I also want to show is your proficiency to be able to answer core questions. So in the chat, definitely, this is for everybody that's participating in the chat. What is the official bird of Madison? And so is it A, peregrine falcon, B, black-capped chickadee? That is a mouthful. C, American goldfinch, or D, plastic pink flamingo? And did I remember to unpause? If you're voting, oh shoot. Is our voting working? Oh shoot. Got it. 1 second. Yeah, okay. Yes. All right, good. Now it's working. All right. So we've got D, a few folks rolling in for the plastic pink flamingos. Whoever wrote these made it tough for me. Black-capped chickadee, plastic pink flamingo, American goldfinch. Nobody for the peregrine falcon so far.
That's surprising because we have a couple peregrine falcons that come by in our energy utility boxes. They always highlight them every year. But I know that's not our bird.
Well, there we go. All right, so we got lots of D's, lots of C's, but Josh, do you know? I'm going to put you on the spot.
I know it's D. I got this shirt that features plastic pink flamingos when I graduated from UW-Madison about 5 years ago now. Because I was so excited to stay here in Madison, and I thought that was such a unique piece of trivia.
That's awesome. And if I understand it right, it was in honor of a 1979 prank where they covered Bascom Hill with over 1,000 plastic pink flamingos. So that's pretty amazing. All right, let's move on to the next one. What is the name of the large farmers market that circles the Wisconsin state capitol in Wisconsin? So there is a large farmers market. Is it the Dane County Farmers Market, the Capital Harvest Fair, Great Lakes Market, Midwest Fresh Market? Or if you want to be snarky, you can put your own name in for what it might be if there's some regional rivalry that you want to take down their farmers market for some reason.
I might be able to alter the question here. I believe it is the largest open air farmers market. Someone is gonna correct me in our Discord after this, but I'm pretty sure that's our claim to fame, and everyone has to go counterclockwise because even though it's very large, it's got limited space.
Really? Okay. So
Yeah.
largest in the world or largest in North America? How does it work?
I don't know. North America, world, probably North America, I'm assuming, but it's I think it's largest local producers only.
Okay. Very cool. I like that a lot.
Yep, I'm getting confirmation, largest producer only. But
Well,
it's the Dane County Farmers Market.
and we clearly have a very discerning audience because everybody has selected C, and that is correct. It is the Dane County Farmers Market. And now a trivia question. When was Madison first incorporated as a city? Is it A, 1836, B, 1856, C, 1829? You thought I'd go in chronological order, but I didn't. D, is it 1904? I'm messing with everybody by putting C in the wrong spot. Is that purposeful or not? 1904, 1856. Got some votes coming in. Still neck and neck here. 1856 says Bradley. And the thing is, so
I-
not only did we mess with the ordering, but 1836, which nobody has chosen, is actually when the community was founded, but it was incorporated in, drumroll, 1856, B. So congratulations to those that said B. All right. If you got at least one question right, drop in the chat the word now, and you will get a t-shirt. And so, well, we'll spin the wheel. So not everybody that goes, shoot, I almost gave away a lot of t-shirts. Drop the word now in the chat, and we're going to see your name come up in just a moment. So if you got at least one right, and with many witnesses around, we'll be able to tell that. So this is the Madison round, and then don't worry, West Allis, you're in the running too, and we will do this in a moment. So I'm going to do a countdown: 3, 2, 1. All right, let's spin the wheel. And we've got ourselves coming up with a winner of a t-shirt is Addie. Congratulations. Glad to have a t-shirt winner. We will get in touch with you afterwards. So that's awesome. All right. This is fun. Oh, I need, bonus round. If anyone caught at least one of the bottom up short episodes from our top 4. So Josh, you can enter if you want. Emily, if you listened, you're certainly welcome to. If you did, what is the word that you need to, oh shoot, I forget what the name that I was supposed to type in the chat is. Okay, I will come back to that one. Somebody tried, woohoo is the last thing that was posted. Let's try now. Does that work? I think I changed it. Is that going to show up? No. Okay. It is broken. All right. Well, if you did catch at least one of the episodes, I hope it was good. I had a good time. Oh, there we go. Just type yes. So if you encountered at least one of our interviews from our top 4 communities, so that was Chicago, Madison, Sheboygan, as well as West Allis and Madison, drop that in. James definitely did. We got Tanya. Very good. Joe, all right, we'll give it just a little bit more time. It's always fun. If you didn't actually, the conversations were fantastic. And we had just the opportunity to sort of take a full, 20 minutes, talk through the things that the community is doing together. And it was excellent. So, all right, we've got four contestants. So it's your lucky day. See, being part of the Strong Test movement has its perks. So let's spin. Why didn't it spin? Shoot. Something happened. Okay, I'm just moving on. I will get one of you a t-shirt as promised. All right, West Allis, how are we doing? Emily, Mayor Dan, West Allis originally grew out of a hamlet in the 1830s and was known as, and I'm marking down the people that said yes, that they listened to the podcast, so that way I can pick one of you. But go ahead and drop in the chat, which was, oh, this is wrong too.
I think we have the wrong answers.
That's what I did. Pick the world record. The question does not match. Yeah, I'm getting a note. Norm, I think these are the wrong questions for the answers. They are definitely, but I trust my audience and I know that you have the ability to understand roughly what the question is, which is, what does West Allis have that is the world's blank? So we have one vote for the largest cream puff by Addie, who is, I mean, if I were to guess, Addie has already won. So that is a pretty high bar to say that you might want to think about it, but I might be doing a little bit of strategic misdirection here. So you never know. All right, Emily, what is it? Can you reveal it for everybody?
I believe it is the world's largest cream puff.
All right, do you know how that came to be? Was it just an inspired person? Because I'm told it is 125 pounds. That's impressive.
So the cream puff is one of the must eats at the Wisconsin State Fair, and it's a partnership with the Wisconsin Bakers Association and then the dairy industry for the cream. Yep. So they're always tinkering with the originals. They'll put in a chocolate cream puff one year, they'll put in a strawberry, they do Valentine's Day specials. So this was a Guinness Book World's Record or world's largest cream puff event that they did one year at the fair.
I would want to like cut a slot in the middle of it, open it up, and then jump in. I feel like that would be the most delightful moment of my entire experience at the Wisconsin State Fair. So I hope you can help me arrange that. Which of the following events is held in West Allis? Oh, I got my questions. They're all okay. Let's pivot away.
Okay.
In the great words of Ross from Friends. Sorry, folks. Sheena had it all set up, and now here we are. But we're actually
If
moving
you'd
well
like,
on.
Norm,
Yeah.
I could just read the questions and then
Oh,
post
good
the
idea.
possible
Yeah.
answers in the chat.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think we have already given away the answer to the next one, but it was going to be which of the following events is held in West Allis, and I'm going to post. But I think we already know this one because it's been mentioned a few times.
Yeah.
A was going to be the Wisconsin Film Festival, B, Summerfest, C, the Wisconsin Grilled Cheese Championship, which is a real event, or D, the Wisconsin State Fair.
That's true. That one pretty much got answered. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we know this one. But you might not know that it's been held in West Allis since 1892, which is very impressive. A long-standing community event.
And I think they canceled it up until COVID. They canceled it 1 year, and that was during World War II, I believe.
Wow.
Okay.
Excellent. And then our final question was going to be West Allis originally grew out of a hamlet in the 1830s in an area originally known as, and then the answer, potential answers, A, Honey Creek, B, Battle Creek, C, Greystone, or D, Pleasant Valley.
I'm going to ask Josh, do you know?
I mean, I'm gonna guess Honey Creek and just go with the fact that Sprecher's, which is a brewing company in Milwaukee, makes their root beer with honey, and it's delicious.
Huh.
That's
Well,
great
there you go.
reasoning.
Emily, confirm, is he on the right track as well as the other participants?
Confirmed. It is the Honey Creek settlement.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're going to go into, let's do a couple of things. One, I'm going to put a timer on. We're going to put some music on. And I want you to head over to strongesttown.com and no, wait. What do you think, Sheena? We should probably let people ask if you have a question for our community leaders. Why don't you take a moment, just raise your hand and or drop it in the chat. I think we have the, yeah, you can just use that function. Do we have the Q&A set up? Yeah, the Q&A tab is open as well, so you can either put it in the chat. Any questions for either community, and this can be, bachelor number one. I want to know, what is your favorite type of hamburger, whatever that looks like, whatever it will take to help you make up your mind, unless you're already committed. In which case, ask a question that reveals a deep weakness in the community, so that way, Madison or West Allis will come out ahead. But go ahead, ask a question, and we'll put them to the audience. Maybe I'll ask Emily and Mayor Dan, what's been something that's been very compelling that has caused people to want to vote for your community?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Like, what's your contest sort of, not a trick, but the strategy that's helped you to really get out the vote?
I have an answer.
Go for it.
Because every Friday I run around like something that runs around to try to get everyone on board and get the word out.
Yep.
One thing that we've done to try to leverage some of our people power in this competition is I actually was at a career fair about a week before the competition started and started to get out the word to like our local high schoolers.
Cool.
Wait, don't let Madison hear this.
You would have had to start a couple weeks ago, Madison. No, I'm just kidding. Feel free to reach out to your kids because kids can vote in the contest. And it's just been absolutely amazing introducing voting for the contest. Like during the career fair, telling folks like this is part of something I get to do as part of my job, which is super fun and exciting. And for kids who legally cannot vote yet, being able to vote in this competition is like a really compelling reason to show how your voice matters. And it's been awesome to tell this story to our local high schoolers, like, hey, you guys are the reason why we are doing so awesome. Here's how we're doing. We've beat Spokane and we've beat Chicago, these crazy awesome places. It's been fantastic. That's my little tip or trick.
That's fantastic. Josh, today is Monday, which means it's Mondays for Madison, right? Do you want to share just a little bit about that?
Well, actually, I think the more effective thing, and I'll be a little bit what's the word? I'll humiliate myself just a little bit. So we created some flyers and we showed them at our local conversation right before this contest was starting. And we had them printed and we had them nice. I don't know if it's reverse,
Yeah, no, that
but
looks awesome.
if
Yeah.
you can't even spell your city right and you're trying
That's
to
it.
tell people hey, you should vote for your city. This caught a lot of attention. But also, another thing that really helped us was we connected with some local news folks that were talking about a highway expansion that was happening. And we were some of the people who were the most outwardly against that highway expansion. So we were a great quote. And he was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I can write about this too. And it was great. So I think it highlighted it, made people not only vote for us, but I think, again, I think it pushed all of the Wisconsin people basically. What I'm hearing is you need to have a national gathering here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. And then, Mayor Dan, two questions for you. Who is the largest employer in your community today? And can you tell us about Coffee with the Mayor?
Sure. Yes. Our largest employer is either the medical center or the
Mhm.
school district or Quad Graphics, which is a printing company. But
It's
but
tough.
they have several plants and they move people around a lot, so it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
know their numbers right now. Um, but those are the big three that I can think of off the top of my head. And Coffee with the Mayor, yeah, that is actually something I borrowed from a friend who used to be the mayor in Wisconsin Rapids. And pre-COVID, I just did it once or twice a month on a Monday morning at night. I'd say I'm going to be at this coffee shop from 9 to 10. Bring bring your ideas, bring your thoughts, bring your concerns. A lot of people are more comfortable talking to you outside of a city hall, which it's just a little less formal and a little more relaxed. And not gonna lie, when I first started them, there were a couple hours where it was just me sitting there drinking a cup of coffee for an hour. No one showed up. But then gradually we got 3 to 4 people show up, and right now I haven't been doing them as regularly as I'd like to, but we usually get between 15 and 25 people show up, and some are just there to learn about what's happening in the city. Some come with an actual question or an issue in their neighborhood. Um, but it's really been, sometimes I'll bring in like a department head to talk about like some of the traffic calming initiatives in the city, or I'll bring in like we hired a new police chief. It was a couple of years ago, several years ago now, but I had him join me just so the community could meet him. Um, Bring in DPW director to talk about snowplow operations or all those kinds of things. So it's another level of outreach to try to just be out there and hearing the people you represent.
When that really resonates, just with one of the core elements of the Strong Towns movement, which is our local conversation groups. And it's the idea of, we need groups of people in places talking about their community and the real challenges that they face, and then what to do about that. And that connection between city, the municipality and its residents is so vital. And I love the way that you're cultivating that connection. A great question also from James. So maybe I'll go to Josh first, and then could you name someone who comes to mind as an effective citizen making a difference in your community, and what it is that made them come to mind? And then Mayor Dan, I'll ask you the same question.
I hope he's okay with it. I think he's listening right now. But I want to highlight Jim Kreft. He's one of those technical people that I was talking about at the very top of this show. He is he developed his own urban 3 map using the Madison tax data, and it has sparked so many conversations, whether it's within our community group and kind of getting people on board. Um, with the vision of we need to build up our central core and work on making housing that isn't just big, large single family lots. But he's also like sparked a lot of conversations with our city leaders. People who I don't normally think would sign up for these kinds of changes. When I show them this map, they're shocked and they're like, okay, what can we do to fix this? So
Mm-hmm. Well, and Jim is in the chat and said thank you. So appreciate that. What about Mayor? maybe it's tough to ask the mayor to highlight one individual, but you're up for it. So
Sure,
do you want to
sure.
share somebody, just a community member that that cares and really embodies what it is to be a West Allis strong citizen?
So the first person that came to mind is a gentleman named Wayne Clark, who's in his 80s now, but he has been involved and served on our Police and Fire Commission, our Community Development Authority, our Planning Commission, administrative boards. He has put in so many years of service, and we used to have dinners when budgets weren't as snug, where we would have it was just kind of a thank you dinner for all the people that served on these unpaid committees and boards. And we would at the time credit every citizen for 1 year of service for each committee.
Hmm.
So at the time, Wayne would be 75 years old, but he would be getting a pin for 100 years of service. And people were so confused on how can 75-year-old Wayne get a 100-year pin? It's because he served on 4 committees for 25 years or some kind of combination like that. So he's one that comes to mind, but on the more modern, like the more recent end, and I see Susan Olson commenting, and she's been very involved in the Engage series, which our community's been doing, and that's similar to what Emily had mentioned earlier about getting groups together to tackle homelessness, to talk about solutions to the problems that they see. And there's been an arts collective. There's just been a lot of organic activism spurring off from that Engage series. And we have a woman, Suzanne, on our team who's just been crushing it. And so that sort of element is sort of like the new approach, whereas our citizen committee involvement has been around for quite a while.
Well, that is fantastic. And I just love that. And there's so many great other questions here that as we get to it, we'll have to come back to it. But what I would love to do now is take a moment to start a timer, and I want you to go over and vote. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put on some tunes by a local Madison resident. Josh, this is City Planner Plays, who's a YouTuber, and he creates streaming music. Let's get the music up and running. But give yourself about a minute. Maybe it'll take you longer to make up your mind. But if you've already made up your mind at the end of our live stream, head on over and definitely go vote. And in the meantime, I just want to highlight what Susan shared, that somebody shared that Madison's weirdest spot is where Elvis broke up a kung fu fight, which prompts the question for Emily and Dan: what is West Allis's weirdest spot?
Ooh. Yeah. The thing I like to tell people is we have the boyhood home of Liberace is in West Allis.
Okay.
And a lot of people are starting to forget who Liberace is, but he was one of the most impactful performers in Las Vegas and in the world back in, years ago. So
yeah.
It's not really weird. It's just kind of unique.
Yeah. And now you know. So each one of us is going to be a rock star at our next trivia outing that we go to. So that'll be fantastic. With that, we are coming up on the end of our time. As just shared in the chat, definitely go out and vote. Encourage other people to vote. This is a collective effort, but we definitely take a lot of encouragement when many more people learn about the Strongest Town contest. As mentioned before, it will run until this Friday. So definitely encourage people. They've still got time to investigate their favorite communities, find the front runners, West Allis and Madison, and then cast what could be a deciding vote. We've had some contests that have come down to a few votes, and so we definitely want to encourage that. And then we look for the announcement of the results on Monday, coming up 1 week from now. So perhaps it'll be Mondays for Madison, or perhaps it'll be West Allis holding the crown at the end. I'm really excited for that. And if you are a part of this movement, we want to especially recognize and thank Urban 3 for sponsoring our contest this year and really helping to put this on more maps and more radars and more of people's attention. And as well, if you are inspired by what you've heard, definitely take a moment. If you're not yet a Strong Towns member, go and become one, because it's very straightforward to do that. Just make a contribution of any amount, and that registers you and brings you in as a part of the regular base of support for what Strong Towns is seeking to accomplish. A movement of people equipped to be able to drive good local change in their community. And so I'm grateful that you took time out of your day to either attend this live, or if you're watching this afterwards and your mind is made up, I also encourage you to take that resolve to make your community more like West Allis, or more like Madison, or more like the things that you want in your community, and to really go work that in your place. And so we are with you. The Strong Towns Movement has resources available for you. Thank you to both Emily and Mayor Dan, as well as Josh, for attending today, and for Heather, who was with us earlier as well. I'm grateful for you all. And with that, I wish you well. Keep up the voting, and I think you can only vote once, so I guess you can't keep up the voting, but you can tell other people to go and vote. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care, and take care of your places.